In today's video, we are uncovering a little-known SASSA regulation that could significantly increase your grant amount if you're over 55. Stay tuned to learn how you might qualify for R2500 or more, and discover the steps to secure this vital financial support. Hey there, everyone, welcome back to our channel. Before we dive into today's important topic, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more valuable information about grants, social support, and financial advice in South Africa. Also, make sure to turn on those notifications so you never miss our latest updates. Today, we are going to discuss something that could be life-changing for many South Africans over the age of 55. There's a lesser-known SASSA regulation that could entitle you to receive R2500 or more in grant money. And surprisingly, many eligible citizens aren't aware of this provision. We are going to break down everything you need to know about this grant opportunity, including qualification criteria, application processes, and important documentation requirements. Let's start with some context about why this grant provision exists. The South African Social Security Agency, SASSA, has long recognized that citizens over 55 often face unique financial challenges. Many in this age group find themselves in a difficult position, too young for the old age pension but facing age-related employment challenges. This particular grant provision was designed to bridge that gap and provide crucial financial support to those who need it most. Now, you might be wondering why this is often referred to as a quiet rule. Well, while this provision has been in place for some time, it hasn't received as much publicity as other SASSA grants. This is partly because it's integrated into existing grant structures rather than being a standalone program. However, understanding how to access this support could make a significant difference in your monthly income. Let's talk about the basic qualification criteria. First and foremost, you must be a South African citizen, permanent resident, or refugee who is 55 years or older. This age requirement is absolutely crucial and forms the foundation of eligibility. However, age alone isn't enough to qualify. There are several other important criteria that need to be met. Income is a major factor in determining eligibility. To qualify for the maximum grant amount, your monthly income must fall below certain thresholds. These thresholds are regularly reviewed and adjusted by SASSA to account for changes in the cost of living and economic conditions. It's important to note that this isn't just about your salary. SASSA considers various forms of income, including rental income, investment returns, and any other regular financial inflows. Your asset base is another crucial consideration. SASSA has specific limits on the total value of assets you can own while still qualifying for this grant. This includes both fixed assets like property and movable assets like vehicles. However, there are certain exemptions, particularly for the primary residence you occupy. We'll discuss these exemptions in more detail shortly. One aspect that makes this grant provision particularly interesting is its consideration of household circumstances. If you're married or in a long-term partnership, the combined income and assets of both partners will be taken into account. This can either work in your favor or affect your eligibility, depending on your specific situation. Let's delve deeper into the documentation you'll need to apply. Having the right paperwork ready can make the difference between a smooth application process and unnecessary delays. First, you'll need your South African ID or valid proof of residence status. This is non-negotiable and forms the cornerstone of your application. You'll also need to provide comprehensive proof of your income and assets. This includes bank statements from all your accounts for the last 3 months, proof of any investments or policies you hold, and documentation related to any property you own. If you're employed, you'll need recent pay slips, and if you're self-employed, you'll need to provide financial statements or tax returns. Medical documentation can also be relevant to your application, particularly if you have any chronic conditions or disabilities. While this isn't always required, it can strengthen your application and potentially affect the grant amount you're eligible for. It's worth noting that SASSA may require you to undergo a medical assessment as part of the application process. One of the most important aspects to understand is how this grant provision interacts with other social grants you might be receiving. In some cases, you can receive multiple grants simultaneously, while in others, you might need to choose between different options. This is where careful consideration of your specific circumstances becomes crucial. The application process itself deserves special attention. While it might seem daunting at first, it's actually quite straightforward if you know what to expect. You'll need to visit your nearest SASSA office in person to submit your application. Some offices now offer appointment systems to reduce waiting times, so it's worth checking if this service is available in your area. During your application, a SASSA official will conduct an interview with you. This is an important step where they'll verify your information and assess your eligibility. Be prepared to answer questions about your financial situation, living arrangements, and any other sources of support you might have. One aspect that often catches people off guard is the means test. This is a comprehensive assessment of your financial situation that SASSA uses to determine both your eligibility and the amount you might receive. Understanding how this test works can help you better prepare your application and avoid common pitfalls. Let's talk about some of the common reasons why applications get rejected and how to avoid these issues. One frequent problem is incomplete documentation. Make sure you have all required papers before submitting your application. Another common issue is inconsistencies in declared income or assets. Being honest and thorough in your application is crucial. If your application is approved, you'll need to understand how payments work. SASSA offers several payment options, including direct bank deposits, post office collections, and payments at designated payment points. Each method has its pros and cons, and you'll need to choose the one that best suits your circumstances. It's also important to understand your responsibilities once you start receiving the grant. You'll need to inform SASSA of any significant changes in your financial situation or circumstances. Regular reviews of your grant may be conducted, and failing to report changes could result in penalties or the suspension of your grant. Let's address some common questions about this grant provision. Many people ask whether they can work part-time while receiving the grant. The answer is yes, but your income will be taken into account and might affect the amount you receive. Others wonder about the impact of receiving private pension payments again. This will be considered as part of your total income. Another frequent concern is about property ownership. Owning your own home doesn't automatically disqualify you from receiving the grant, but the value of your property will be considered as part of your asset base. There are, however, certain exemptions and considerations that might work in your favor. The review and appeal process is another important aspect to understand. If your application is rejected, you have the right to appeal the decision. There's a specific process to follow, and understanding these steps can be crucial if you need to challenge a decision about your grant. Looking ahead, it's worth noting that grant amounts and eligibility criteria can change. SASSA regularly reviews and adjusts these based on various factors, including inflation and budget considerations. Staying informed about these changes is important for current and potential grant recipients. We are approaching the end of our discussion, but before we wrap up, let's recap the key points. If you're over 55, this grant provision could provide significant financial support, potentially R2500 or more monthly. The key is understanding the eligibility criteria, preparing the right documentation, and following the application process correctly. Remember, while this information is comprehensive, every situation is unique. It's always advisable to consult with SASSA directly or seek professional advice for your specific circumstances. You can visit your nearest SASSA office or use their official helpline for more detailed information about your particular case. That brings us to the end of today's video. We hope this information has been helpful and will assist you in accessing the financial support you're entitled to. Don't forget to like this video if you found it useful, and hit that subscribe button to stay updated with more valuable information about grants and social support in South Africa. Also, share this video with anyone you think might benefit from this information. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in our next video. Don't forget to leave your questions and comments below. We'd love to hear from you and address any concerns you might have in our future content. Stay safe, and goodbye for now. Remember to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated with our latest content.